Now time for our press review. Deepti Laurent joins me now on the set for a look through the papers today. Hi, Deepti.
Hi, Jeannie.
We're going to start with the British Prime Minister Theresa May in Brussels again today for more tough Brexit talks.
That's right. Tough Brexit talks, crunch talks. These are the words always being thrown up around every time there's a Brexit summit. Indeed, today she's in Brussels. She's facing an uphill battle, not just with EU leaders, though, but also she needs to convince those in her own party. And this is something that's really been sent up by some of the British cartoonists like Dave Brown here. In fact, earlier this week, 8 of her cabinet ministers met around a pizza to discuss blocking her Brexit plans in what's been called now the pizza plot, as you see here from Dave Brown's cartoon. That pizza looking incredibly like Theresa May's face. Now, there also seems to be a bit of Brexit fatigue in the papers today. You know, the topic is on the front page, but making the small corner at the top and not the dominant middle of the front page. Also, check out this headline from this article from The Independent. Brexit is so painful to watch. We'd even cede the 1966 World Cup to Germany just to make it stop. In this piece, the author Matthew Norman says that Brexit has become crushingly tedious. Boredom is winning out over the no-deal fear.
Now, the British daily The Times is looking at a new blacklist against sex predators in the aid sector.
Well, this comes after this summer scandal involving Oxfam, which was hit by damaging accusations that its employees hired sex workers, that the NGO covered up sexual harassment, in particular in Haiti. Well, on the back of that, Britain is now spearheading a global list of sex predators working in the aid sector. Britain is partially funding that as well. The project will use Interpol information to send international alerts to those considered a threat to public safety. The list will also essentially enable NGOs to check the present and past records of its employees and future employees in a bid, they say, to clean up the charity world.
Papers today are also looking at the fate of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
That's right. The US-based Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and now what's become an infamous plot, entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul and never came out. The Saudis are maintaining their radio silence on what happened. Turkey, though, has been very vocal. Turkish officials have identified a number of suspects, and according to the New York Times, some of them are linked directly to the Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salman. 3 suspects allegedly part of his security detail. Another, a senior forensics doctor whose status was so senior that he could only be directed by the Crown Prince. And then there's another suspect yet who frequently accompanied the prince on overseas trips and has been seen in photos. The Middle East Eye, meanwhile, has published this really shocking article around Khashoggi's death. Jeannie, reportedly, they're saying a death that lasted 7 minutes. This is according to audio recordings that a Turkish official has listened to. He was dragged into the study, injected with an unknown substance, and then dismembered while alive. The Turkish source saying that they came to kill him, not interrogate him.
All right, let's come back to France now, where the big story here is this government reshuffle.
And the paper's really not very impressed with the reshuffle. I think they're quite annoyed as well that it took so long. The French president did make his first major cabinet reshuffle since he became president. He's confident in his cabinet, Le Figaro, the right-leaning paper says, but they say, I quote, it has a bitter taste of a missed opportunity. L'Humanité, the communist paper, says, all this for that. They're very scathing, saying after 2 weeks of toing and froing, this new government lacks vision. Le souffle court, which in English means short breath, if you like. Equally unimpressed, Le Parisien newspaper. They say nothing revolutionary, nothing that changes the balance.
All right, something completely different now. The actress Nicole Kidman has come out with some startling comments about her time when she was married to Tom Cruise.
Well, this is in today's edition of the Daily Telegraph. Now, the Australian actress spoke candidly about her 1990s marriage to Tom Cruise, saying that his star power allowed her a level of protection from Hollywood's sexual predators. She married for love at the time, yes, but she also married for protection. She does say she faced her own battles of sexual harassment. Interestingly, she's actually starring in an upcoming film about Roger Ailes, the founding president of Fox News, who up until his death was facing allegations of sexual harassment in the workplace.
Deepti, just to wrap up now, you've got a story on the Wildlife Photography Awards.
Well, we know now the winners of the Wildlife Photography Awards. Dutch photographer Marcel van Oosten has picked up the nod for Wildlife Photographer of the Year for his arresting portrait of two golden snub-nosed monkeys, an endangered species that can be found in China, loss of animal habitats, climate change, deforestation, all making really dominant themes in this year's awards. Let's show you some of the other awards. Mud dauber wasps in Australia, and on the right there, a gorgeous snap of a lounging leopard. That picture shot by a teenager, actually. You also have a young mountain gorilla mom in what's quite a sad picture who's mourning the loss of her child. And finally, you have a macaque in Indonesia forced to dress up for tourists. Very sad picture there as well. Climate change, exploitation, but also the sheer beauty of nature, all dominant themes.
Deepti, thanks so much for that. You take along with that look at what the papers have been saying today. You can get a closer look, of course, at our press review on our website. That address is france24.com.